Got this microphone here so you can hear me a little bit better. I was just thinking the other day, I remember back when I was a teenager in the gym, and there was a guy I used to train. I was in the gym about the same time he was, and he was in his 40s at the time. And he always mentioned about, being beat up, having bad shoulders, bad elbows. Like, yeah, whatever, man, after a while. But then I remember him showing me his arm one day. This microphone over here. Him showing me his arm. And he had shattered his arm when he was young, from here down, somewhere around the elbow area. And where a normal person's arm goes straight, his went out to the side. So that obviously changed the bar path, elbow path of the bench press, rows, everything, how you grip the bar when you squat. So I remember he would always be doing, warming up on bench press. He warmed up with 2.5 pound plates aside and 5 pound plates aside. And that's all the jumps he would make. And doggone it, he could have the entire bar almost full with 5 pound, 2.5 pound plates. And you'd have no idea how much he had on the bar, but it would be like 300 pounds by the end of his training session. And I remember thinking that was just the craziest thing, that it would take him, 3 hours to bench press. Not 3 hours, it would take him a solid two hours to bench press. 2 hours to do chest. And I remember at the time thinking that was absolutely insane. But as I've gotten older, I'm just realizing it takes a lot more to warm up. I come in the gym with, days like today where biceps hurt, shoulders hurt, tendons hurt. If I jump, if I do a set with a bar, a set with a plate, plate and a half, 2 plates, 2.5 plates, the training session is bad. I got no work, no benefit out of the day. So I've got to find some kind of balance. Now, I don't want to spend an hour and a half warming up, doing mobility work and stuff like that. And then I know that I'm limited on the amount of sets and reps that I can take at a certain high percent. So, if I look at like a balance, low percent, high percent, I can only do a small amount of my work in this high percent range. And I don't want to do a ton of work in this, the rest of the range here. Let's call that 75% and under. I don't want to do a ton of work there. So what I'm going to do is, all of my warm-ups, the bar and a plate, something like that. This very super low bottom percent is where the majority of my warm-ups are going to take place. So I'm going to do I've already done a bunch of sets with just the empty bar. Sets of 5, sets of 8, sets of 10s. I'm going to keep doing that for several more rounds. And then I'm going to do the exact same thing with one plate. I don't need much rest. I don't want to get a pump. I don't want it to be actual work. I just want to move. So I'm going to do sets of 8, and I'm going to walk over, get something to drink, whatever. Come back, this set of 8, set of 10, whatever. My body needs the time to warm up. It needs the sets to warm up. And I can warm up a lot with the bar and a plate, and it's not going to affect my max numbers really at all. But if I start doing the majority of my warm-up sets in that 50 and 60% range, it's going to affect my max numbers in there. Something to think about. If you get to the gym and you don't feel great, and you still want to hit those heavy weights with big numbers, don't kill yourself on the 50, 60, and 70% warm-ups. Don't do a ton of work there to get warm-up. Do a ton of work in the 10 to 15% range, maybe the 20, 25% range. Do a bunch of work, a ton of work, really heavy, dense work at that very light end of the load. So you've still got a big space down here left with a higher percent. So let me put this microphone back over here and get back to playing with the bar.